Welcome to Sportsball, everybody.
Wait, no, I wasn't ready.
Well, you have to be ready.
Okay, fine.
It's a brand new episode of Sportsball. So that's a little bit different. We decided to open things up, and we brought in a new person. But I'm your host, Tyler Coe, joined by Khalifa, who's back after a week missing. We were both kind of not.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You were out,
Yeah.
gone. I wasn't feeling well last episode, which I'm really sorry.
You drove me away, Tyler. There's a difference between being gone and being pushed out.
I didn't push you out.
You pushed me out.
You were just being a little bitchy.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay.
I was on my period
You're
for
fine
3
now.
weeks.
And introducing, for the first time ever,
You notice that
Joel Heyman.
you never see Mia and Joel at the same place at the same time?
We are.
'Cause we're the same
we are
person.
The same person.
This scary enough, like you guys are very, very similar. So now I have two of you.
Well, she's
This is what you will, Mia. This is what you will look like when you turn
What,
50.
if I eat 17 burritos in one weekend?
Yes. How old are you, Joel? Did I just overshoot it by like a decade?
I'm so old.
How old are you?
I'm
Let's all say our age at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 12.
25. Let's get into some hot and bothered to start the show. Insane weekend in football. It was very spooky. It was very weird in college football and in the NFL. But for me, hot for me, baseball. Postseason it's been good because we've gotten through 2 games each in the NLCS and the ALCS, and it's like champions just trading punches real quick. Nobody's going for the knockout just yet. But Brewers look stunning at home. They were great. Josh Hader throws like 1,000 miles an hour. It's scary watching him throw, and scary how racist he is. But the Dodgers were able to climb back in after they dropped Game 1 against the Brewers with my boy, who's my friend, Justin Turner, hit a 2-run bomb in the 8th.
He is the best garden gnome who also plays baseball.
Well, just what I mean, the guys. Look at this home run. This is amazing.
2-0. High drive into left, back at the wall. The Dodgers are on top.
Unknown fact about
after
Justin
a
Turner: he is not ticklish. Do you know that?
Oh, that's
Why
weird.
are you going around tickling your grown man friend?
He's not ticklish. I have proof. Are you ticklish?
Don't touch me.
He's not ticklish. I tried to tickle him one time.
Maybe it's just.
Wait, you didn't make contact, though. How do you know he's not ticklish?
Well, he slapped my hand away. I have
You
no
just took
idea.
his word for it? That sounds
Yeah.
to me like fear. He didn't want to be tickled because he has a high-pitched giggle when he tickles.
He might be ticklish. I don't know.
If you show up in an interview without a stick with a feather at the end, you're not really prepared.
That's true.
Did you see that movie, the Tickled movie?
What?
There's like a porn tickle movie.
There is a tickle fetish.
There is a tickle fetish. Are you telling me? Are we going to announce on this show that Justin Turner has a tickle fetish, and that's why he didn't let
Breaking
you tickle
news, Justin Turner has a tickle fetish.
Do you think this is why he grows out all the hair? You know, just sort of like as a defense mechanism?
Just do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I know that's
just
why I
as
have
a
a beard, so I
barrier?
can tickle people.
Beards do tickle.
With consent. I
Yeah.
tickle with consent. I've never been an aggressive tickler. I always make sure that it's okay, that everybody's comfortable with it.
I think that, like, I don't know what we're talking about at this point, but it's like if you have a brother or sister, then you view tickling completely differently than if you're an only child.
Tickling is like a modern form of warfare.
It is like a modern form of warfare.
Yeah.
It's the best type of negotiation. I don't know why they don't settle more wars this way.
With tickling?
Get them in a
Tickle
room.
fights.
You know what's settling wars? Yeah. I wish that. Yeah, this has got me bothered, actually. I'm glad you brought up war because I'm very upset because there's a war coming, and it's happening in the Big 12. I'm furious with the Big 12 conference. College football was absolutely
transition.
insane this week, and it is setting up for an insane battle at the end of the year that should not be happening. You talk about settling things with tickling. How about settling things one-on-one on the field? The Big 12 conference is the only conference out of the Power 5 and in Division I in college football that has round robin. Everybody plays everybody in the conference once, okay? So the Big 12, top to bottom, they get to play each other. The best team from that conference wins their conference, right? Because if you beat everybody in the conference, then you should win the conference.
Oh, but they don't win the
Oh, but no, you don't. Because the Big 12, and they're brilliant thinking, those people over there, for a conference that is dying and won't even exist in 5 years. They added on a Big 12 championship game. Even though Everybody plays everybody.
You know,
so what's going to happen now, Joel, is that looking at it right now with West Virginia losing to Iowa State and Texas is in the driver's seat, Texas could win out the Big 12 realistically, looking at the rest of their schedule, go to the Big 12 championship game, which they don't need to, and then they'll lose to Oklahoma, and nobody will go to the playoffs. Big 12 is the conference that shoots itself in the dick.
They're already lying to you right off the top because there's not even 12 teams.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Well, there's a lot of lying conferences. The Big 10 is not 10 teams anymore.
Nor are they big.
Nor are they big. And they used to be sneaky. When I was growing up with the Big 10, Big 10 used to have the Big 10 logo, but they snuck an 11 in. It was a 1, and it blew my fucking mind.
All right, listen. You and I and Brandon spent 4 hours talking about this somehow, about this division of the Big 12 and how it is probably objectively bad for the teams in the Big 12 because you have to jump
terrible.
over 2 hurdles, and they're even proud of it. Even in the commercials, they're like, it's the hardest path.
Yeah, they even say in the Big 12 commercials, they're like, we're the only conference that everybody plays everybody.
Now, you and I are on the same side of this. So, to be fair, Brandon made the point that maybe there are times where that extra game helps you. Like maybe if you're on the bubble and you have another opponent who's right there.
No, it does not help you. It does not help you.
Let me make the point.
No, I'm not going to let you make the point because I'm the host of the show. You're wrong.
I'm sorry, Brandon.
You're wrong.
I tried.
Texas already beat Oklahoma. I got SEC people that'll back me up on this. LSU fans, I'm talking to you. 2011, LSU arguably has one of the greatest runs as a college football team. I think they beat 6 ranked teams that year, and they beat Alabama at Alabama. Then they had to go play Alabama in the national championship, a team they already beat. I feel in college football, if you've already beaten that team, that's it. You don't need to play again. They shouldn't have got set up the way they were, and it killed the BCS, and it's the reason we have the playoffs right now. If Texas already beat Oklahoma, they shouldn't have to play them again in the Big 12 championship game.
Mia,
and I say this as a fan because I know Oklahoma will beat Texas.
Mia, how often on the show do you feel like Tyler is wrong? It's a lot.
I don't think I've ever felt that he was right.
Y'all's a bunch of bitches, man. You know, this is my show. I invite you to change the set. I make it more open for all the folks. And, you know, I invite you to my show in my house and you just disrespect the shit out of me.
Yeah.
You know what? There's so much you guys are, you know what you're like? You're like modern day athletes. You're just disrespecting the shit out of me. You've changed my game and I don't like it. Because that's the thing that's got me the most bothered.
Modern day athletes?
I'm having a hard time with sports right now.
I am too. I haven't been enjoying football this year for the first time in my life. Not because Florida State's losing.
Maybe it's the same reason. I have an inkling that it might be the same reason.
The pussification of football?
Pussification of just sport. I don't know what it is because I'm watching baseball this weekend and I'm watching the Cruise and I'm just thinking about what's going on. And I'm seeing Big Papi and I'm seeing Gary Sheffield, I'm seeing Pedro, and I'm seeing Rodriguez, and they're old, and Rodriguez puts on a Red Sox jersey for losing a bet.
It's weird to see.
I don't like it.
It's weird to see A-Rod not with like a needle hanging out of him.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I see Alex Cora in the dugout for the Red Sox, and I still play with him on my Ken Griffey Jr. baseball in '64. I see Dave Roberts, who's just removed in my mind from stealing bases.
We're having multiple conversations.
No, and he looks old as shit.
All right, so this particular conversation that you're having right now is that you feel like younger players in multiple sports are becoming more and more entitled.
Yes.
I feel, no.
Absolutely. That's how I feel. I feel like every player under the age of 24 is an entitled little shit who thinks they should just have things handed to them because they play a sport.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that. It's just the way the game has changed. And I don't know how I feel about it.
Here's my theory.
I don't know if they're entitled.
Here's my theory on it. I think that there's a good possibility that a lot of these kids were always entitled a-holes. You just didn't see it as much because the internet wasn't as prevalent.
Maybe.
Like they're talking about, there's a bunch of articles about like social media and the NBA and just sort of like, and the NBA, this is where this stuff really pops up the most because since there's less players, any one particular player has more power. And it's almost like when you bring on a player, it's almost like if he's gonna be your superstar, part of that guy has to be mature and a GM.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna run that thing. You look at like Butler, right, up in Minnesota, where it's like, because of social media and because of his ability to talk to fans, he's going to go out, it's going to be opening night, and his fans are going to boo him immediately just because like they have that dialogue. I don't know if that's, you know, I'm sure he's going to be the best player on the court for their team, and so they're going to eventually cheer him. But it's like now you have this dynamic because they can talk more, now you can hate them more because you can hear what they're saying.
That's true. We have a lot more access to them, and maybe their personalities have always just been shit.
Well, we've talked about
Let's be honest, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed.
Are you calling athletes dumb?
A little bit.
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are very intelligent. It
Yeah.
just kind of depends. I think we've talked about it before, you and I, like if Michael Jordan had if there's Twitter and Facebook when Michael Jordan was at his height, America would have hated him. He was a huge gambler, a huge womanizer.
Oh, yeah.
None of that shit showed up.
I mean,
a lot of those guys back in the 90s, which were wild and crazy, they didn't, like you said, there wasn't access. You didn't get to see that.
Yeah,
side.
and it's a strange thing because, I mean, it really is. Like, when you're a dude in your early 20s, it's like the worst time in your life to be given power for people to listen to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know anything, but you think that you know
You're not
everything.
even a human being yet.
No,
Like,
you're
a
not.
child
You're
still.
not an adult. I don't care how much money you have. You are not an adult.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and especially as they come up through some of these players through college, and they're so managed, and it's like you really don't know how the real world really works, and unfortunately for a lot of them, they don't get to discover that till they're 35 and are broke. You know,
Also, one of my favorite 30 for 30s.
Oh, hands down, that was like
Yeah.
one of the best top 3
Yeah.
30 for 30.
Same guy who did that also did the U Part 1 and 2, which was fantastic.
Awesome. That and the Tale of Two Escobars.
Oh, so good.
If you haven't seen the Tale of Two Escobars, it's absolutely amazing.
No,
We'll
but
talk about it.
it's the same
And
point.
an inconvenient truth.
Well, it's the same point where it's just sort of saying, are these younger players, they're touching. It's magic. It's magic.
Yeah,
Are
'cause
these
we're
younger
entitled.
players more entitled? But it's like players from the 70s and the 80s, they also went broke to like the same extent that they are now. So it's like, I don't know that it's
I don't know.
changed.
Well, I don't know if that's
It's more
what's
aware.
bothering me. Maybe that's
It's just the
bothering you
same
guys
cycle.
with entitlement. I feel like I'm mad that things are getting old. That's where my issue is.
I just realized an inconvenient truth is about global warming. I meant fantastic love.
I know, because I looked at you and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what?
I meant rape, not global warming.
You are my ride or die, and I got your back no matter what. So I'm
You
always,
fully supported
I
that.
fully
You're
support you. I'm looking at you. I'm like, what did this bitch just say? What the fuck? I'm gonna go with it. She's my buddy.
I don't even know what she's talking about. and I'm supporting. It's great.
I got you.
Thumbs up.
All right. That's what we do. We have each other's back.
No idea.
It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just watching things and like, I see the Ken Griffey Jr. commercial with like, let the kids play. And I like that, but I also don't because I don't know what it is. Like, I think of these players sometimes as still boys. And they are boys. Like we just talked about, they're still children. But I look at Poppy at the plate, there was something more men about athletes. And I'm just struggling with my own age and mortality. I am so
I don't like watching
terrified
the
of
draft
death.
anymore. I feel old.
It's just stages of your life, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm in my early 20s. All my friends are getting married. That's really weird. Oh, all my friends are having kids. That's really weird. And then you get old enough to the point where you're like, I'm so old now that I look at players, professional players, I'm like, look at this child face with this adult body.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's like when you're a kid and you look at these guys like, they're men, they don't know anything. So it only gets worse. But as long as Tommy Lasorda is still alive, it's okay.
Honestly, I feel like the only athletes that aren't little shits are hockey players.
I knew you were going to go there.
It's true, though.
I'm not going to say I can't disagree with that. They hit people with their fists.
It's not just that. It's the maturity. Like, you hear them talk in post-game press conferences, and you hear a fucking football player talking in post-game press conference.
Okay, so let's go there. I want to rank this.
It's because they're all Canadian.
It's not just that.
No, it's because they're all Canadian. Canadians are what they.
No, but they're men. No, you got a point there with the football thing because what for you guys when we're looking at like the main sports, who are like the whiniest, most immature players?
Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay, I got a counter for you though.
All right.
Do you think if I'll give you that, but do you think Tom Brady's a little bitch too?
I think Tom Brady's a little bitch because he treats himself with avocado ice cream.
But back to my question. Besides that, which rank them for me? Who are the most immature?
By sport?
Yeah. If we're going, I would say you started with football. I would say football's number one.
I would say football and then basketball and then baseball and then badminton and then cycling.
Those fucking badminton.
And then hockey.
Players.
So yeah, I would circumvent all of that. I would say football in America, yes, number one, but number one overall is soccer. Because those are some flopping bitches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would we say that? Let's offend the whole world by saying soccer
is the most little bitch sport.
Thank you. It's filled with immature children who flop on the ground like fish.
Listen, I think it's basketball, football.
You think it's basketball?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's basketball number one?
Well, again, because it's a supply-demand issue, right? Because you have less players, so those players have more power. And although they may not have sometimes they have the emotional breakouts, it's more calculated with those guys because it's they really do have an effect on the game where they do have power, more power over coaches and general managers because again, with basketball, in Minnesota, he's your one star. So it's he has so much leverage and so much more runway.
Well,
it's
as
just
he
sort of
should,
if you
in
have
my opinion.
What's that?
I think, in my opinion, he should have that much power.
Well, does a guy who's been coaching and managing basketball for 50 years his whole life, does he have some sort of insight to give to the people who are playing?
Again, it depends on the situation. You look at Steve Kerr with the Warriors, and I think he is absolutely essential to their success. Being able to have that many talented players on the court at once and produce as much as they've done, that's very, very hard to do. We've only seen that a few times. I mean, let's talk about it. Well, Phil Jackson and the Bulls. I mean, Pop down in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's hard to manage that many superstars, especially when you don't have one.
No. It's
look
hard
no
to manage
further
that
than
many
Cleveland.
egos.
It is hard to manage that many egos. But I look for a player in LeBron James that he does not need a coach. Now, granted, he's a very unique he's a special case, but he doesn't. And you look at, he should have the power. Because I look at the NBA and you look at Dan Gilbert and you're like, God, you fucking suck. You had so much time. You were given a gift by the gods in the lottery to have the best NBA player, talent-wise, of all time, and you never put a team around him. You never put a team around him.
Well,
and it's so frustrating.
I agree.
So I don't.
But I agree with what you're saying, but it's just sort of LeBron is mature now, right? When he says something, he has the experience to back it up. Plus, he's a talented player. So to me, there's a difference between a very talented player that has been there, done that. He does need to be part of the coaching staff. I mean, he kind of is. He is kind of the general manager in some ways, where it's you've got to work that in.
You got to listen to him.
Yeah, I think so. Where it's different, where it's hey, I'm just coming into the NBA or 1 or 2 years. It's just sort of I feels confident about that. But you guys are right. It's being a coach in the NBA. Boy, you've got to be a real manager of personalities.
Yeah.
I think it's different.
That's what it is. It's rare breeds. Also, rare college football this week. These are the rare weeks in college football that I absolutely love. I want to come back to LeBron because we need to talk about where the Lakers are going to end up this year. Also, I watched him talk with Drake about this whole Ye Pusha T thing. It's very interesting. I don't know if that's going to work into the show, but I got shit to say about that. Anyways, rare this week. College football every year has that 1 week where it's weak matchups, a few ranked matchups.
We talked about it last week where we said this is going to be the week.
It's going to be a creepy week.
Week 7.
Some week 7 bullshit's going to go on. It did not disappoint. College football is not in chaos, but there's some shakeups.
My
at the
season's
top.
in chaos.
Your season's been in chaos. Your season was over day 1.
What happened?
You just have to. That's the worst thing.
What happened?
She's
to
a
you?
Florida State fan.
Tell me where they touched you.
Right here.
Willie Taggart did it too. He was the culprit. I saw him.
Your nightmare is so bad that you know that it's bad now and it's going to keep being bad for a while.
It's going to be bad for 10 years.
Okay, actually, I have a question for you. I already know the answer to this, but whose nightmare is actually worse? Because you do have Florida State. Willie Taggart is clearly struggling with that program in a very down ACC this year. Florida State should never be at the bottom like that.
No.
Never. I don't think enough people are talking about this one.
Even
No,
with
worst
Chris
nightmare.
Ricks, we were doing better.
Yeah.
I
Hold on.
gotta listen. The dynamics in the state of Florida are different.
You
now
have told me this before.
because
You were fucking crazy on this one.
It's true. This is why you're saying Florida State and Florida struggle more because the player talent is being diluted because of Central Florida and South Florida. They have huge student bodies. It's going to start diluting talent. You have too many universities in Florida now. It's not
FAU and FAU and UCF and USF and all. They're not depleting those schools.
They're not at all.
They're
Also,
not
we get
depleting
all
those
of our
schools.
players from Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, the Florida State is, yes, they're getting players from Florida, but like Mia just said, one of the best states The best states, period, is that you have the finesse players in California, the best overall football players in Texas, and then you could split talent-wise between Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
Aside from like Dalvin Cook, some of our best players came from Alabama.
I disagree with that. They are.
No, but even if the players are from Georgia and Alabama and this, that, and the other thing, they're making a decision where it's like, I'm coming down to Florida. You're diluting.
Do you think the best players in Michigan are carrying Michigan? Florida State is a national brand.
The players who are great in Michigan are playing in Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State.
No, they're not. I would attest that a lot of the great players in Michigan ain't playing at Michigan because they ain't that good.
Absolutely not.
Those players are coming from the South. Urban Meyer has Ohio State as a juggernaut.
Who was it? Harbaugh was fighting for satellite camps.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Saban wanted to get rid of them, and Harbaugh wanted satellite camps because he knows most of his best players are coming from the South.
These are good points. I'm just saying, even if you break it down that way, you're still diluting talent.
You're not okay. You are not diluting talent.
I, as a Florida State fan, have never, especially today, been worried about UCF, FAU, USF.
This is what I'm telling you. Over the next 10 years, you better start.
I'm worried about Miami, Florida, Alabama, and UGA.
You're looking in the past. You're looking at the future.
It's not, no.
I've never seen a 4 or a 5-star recruit showing his options or showing the hats in front of him with FAU or USF.
I'm telling you, at the time, yes, because that's the past. But
no, I'm talking about
as long as Central Florida is hanging out in the top 10 with their garbage schedule.
Guess what? They're not hanging out in the top 10 anymore because they almost lost to Memphis.
They are. They're ranked number 10. And by the way, I have to talk about this because 2 weeks I was totally wrong.
Listen,
I was totally wrong.
We could go off on a tangent.
We're
going to end it right here. Me and I are correct. You are wrong. Florida State is a national brand. The worst nightmare, though, this is the true nightmare. You're having a bad dream. This is a scary fucking nightmare, spooky one. Nebraska has not won a game. They are 0-6. I don't think enough people are talking about that. That is insane.
This is amazing.
That is insane. That is a blue blood. That is a school that has won multiple national championships.
It has been a very weird year.
They hosted, in my opinion, Nebraska had the greatest team of all time in 1995. In the history of college football, you could debate that with 0-1 Miami.
And 2013 Florida State.
You fucking.
Listen.
I fucking want to say words right now.
True.
I can't.
I am more objective.
You were such.
I am more.
Say them to my face, Tyler.
I am more objective about this. I think she's right.
Thank you. That has actually been in the debate. 13 Florida State, 0-1 Miami, 95 Nebraska.
Both of you can kindly get the fuck off my set.
If we are talking about manpower and NFL draftees, those are in the mix.
04 USC beats the shit out of that team. 05 Texas beats the shit out of that team.
No, they don't.
08 Florida beats the shit out of that team. Take an Alabama pick. Florida State barely beat Auburn. They were
literally had that discussion, and Florida State was in the top 3.
Oh. My God.
There is an objective way.
I have lost control of the show.
There is an objective way to go through and objectively check this out. And
you can objectively kiss my ass if you think 13 Florida State is better than any of those teams.
Do you know how many draft picks came out of that fucking team?
Who gives a fuck? Oh, my God. 04 USC and 05 Texas had more combined. 08 Florida did too.
You're deluded.
Oh, my fucking God.
That University of Miami team had more criminal charges pressed against them than any other college football program. Clearly the best.
Rest in peace, Sean Taylor.
I work with.
They broke so many laws.
Yeah.
I work with morons.
They broke so many laws.
The 7th floor crew alone broke so many laws.
USC broke some laws.
This is fucking.
They broke some laws. But a lot of theirs were just like NCAA violations.
Reggie had one. Listen, Reggie Bush won the Heisman. He won the Heisman. People forget how absolutely amazing.
But that's not the argument.
Who was the player from the 01 Miami team that got caught jerking it in his car in a Walmart parking lot?
It was Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow had some. He had some rough years.
Yeah.
We're going to table this craziness. We can't get too off the rails because the rest of college football was this week. It was awesome. LSU takes down number 2 Georgia at home. Joe Burrow just continues to be like.
I picked them to win too.
You did. That was money right there. West Virginia lost.
Suck my dick, Jeff.
West Virginia lost to Iowa State and T-Rexes. I don't know if you guys saw the T-Rexes on the field.
Yes, I did. I saw it on
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Washington loses to Oregon. Penn State lost.
I picked Washington too.
Yeah, Penn State lost to Michigan State. Texas squeaked by Baylor.
I picked Texas.
Notre Dame barely beat Pitt. UFC barely beat Memphis. It was a crazy, crazy week. Also, UCLA got their first win, so congratulations to them. About fucking time. But I think we need to reevaluate what we're looking at this year. Obviously, Alabama is the number 1 team far and away. Tua gets a little banged up. They still just beat the shit out of Missouri. I'm watching that game, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to see how good Alabama really is. Can I watch a full game of Alabama?
I can never.
Second play of the game, they throw a 70-yard bomb, and I'm like, and I will see you next week.
You know, I think
It's so hard to watch them because they're so good. There's just no.
They make football boring.
They do make
They're
football.
like the Golden State Warriors of college football, and it is never fun to watch the Golden State Warriors play. Ever. I don't give a shit who they're playing.
No.
I never want to watch them play.
You know, Alabama's punter is still redshirt eligible.
However, he is, but he did punt this game. So,
thank God.
Alert. Alabama punted this weekend.
Thank
they
God.
might be on the ropes. But no, seriously, I want to rethink this thing because we kind of anointed the top 4 at the beginning of the year. Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama. Georgia also throw that in there as well, you know. But we know that Alabama, right, is going to the playoffs, right? And we knew Georgia was, but I don't know now. And Notre Dame is in the mix, and Clemson looks weak. I have questions.
I never want to see the Catholics winning.
Are we overlooking rivals is my question. Because I'm starting to look around, and I'm looking at what LSU's doing. LSU has Bama at home. Could LSU beat Alabama at home?
I will be rooting for LSU.
All of America will be, and that is a powerful tool.
It is.
Tool right there. Alabama has beaten LSU every year since 2011. LSU has not beaten Alabama at home for a very, very long time. Are they due? They are America's team with America's coach and Coach O. They have the best quarterback who's not very good at football, and Joe Burrow, but he's a god. This team can beat Alabama, or I don't know.
Okay, here's the funny thing is that Burrow's, you know, say what you will about him, he is much more improved than a lot of the quarterbacks that LSU has had in the past. So this is a big improvement for them, you know, and this will be maybe somehow different for Alabama to actually face a quarterback that isn't, you know, terrible.
Yeah. Well, this
but
is
listen, this is why we watch college football, right? And it's like, again, you know, 2 weeks ago, you're telling me how everything is going to go, and it's like you just don't know, right? You've got 4 teams undefeated, you know, and if college football were boring, you'd already know who the 4 teams were going to be in the playoffs.
There's more teams than that are undefeated,
some
Joel.
teams,
Cincinnati's undefeated. South Florida's undefeated.
No.
USF is still defeated.
No. Again, 2 weeks ago, you said, hey, listen, if they've been undefeated, University of Central Florida, if they've been undefeated for 2 years, you got to limit the college football. You know what I did? I made the mistake of going ahead and looking up their schedule.
There's a reason you're not on the playoff committee. Listen,
so bad.
I've attested before.
It is so bad.
We're going to find out. I don't know. I still
If you took any team in the top 50 of college football and gave them UFC's schedule, they would be undefeated. Not only would they be undefeated, their stats would be off the page.
And I get that. There is still an opportunity for UCF to make it to the playoffs.
No.
There is still an outside shot.
No.
Yes, there is.
No.
You say that.
They won by 1 point over. They won by 1 point this weekend over nobody.
You don't know how it's going to
play?
go. To your point, Joel, you don't know how it's going to go, and there's still a lot of football left to be played.
You do know.
Present to the court Exhibit A, the year 2007 in college football. Does anybody remember that one? I'm not saying that this year is going to be like that because it's not, because that year was absolutely insane. I'm saying at the top, near the end, we're going to have some stuff where you could have teams knock each other out.
You're going to have to have
It's undebatable that there will be multiple one-loss teams.
You are going to have, in my humble opinion, you know, Alabama would have to have 2 losses. Notre Dame would have to have 2. All of these teams in the top 10 would have to have 2 losses, and USC would have to be undefeated. If you disagree with me, you have to go look at their schedule. That not only is it a terrible schedule, they have bye weeks because of hurricanes.
Yeah, they do. However, they might end up playing 3 ranked teams at the end of the year. And whether or not you agree with those teams being ranked in UCF and Cincinnati, that would be ranked wins. I'm not advocating that they should be in the playoffs right now. I'm saying there's a shot for them to make it because there's some spooky stuff going on in college football, and I see it. There's some weird things going on where people can knock each other out. We've already said, and I've already attested, the Big 12 has probably already knocked themselves out of the conversation with going to the playoffs, even if Texas was to run the table. and beat Oklahoma, I still think they could get in.
You know,
I don't know if that Maryland loss is forgivable enough for the playoff committee.
A loss earlier in the season, you're a different team by the end of the season. Than you
the
are
best week you can lose is week 1. However, if we're talking about teams to make it in with week 1 losses, that Michigan loss to Notre Dame looking real fucking good for the Wolverines. By the way, who overlooking rivals, because we're looking at Ohio State as unbeatable. Michigan has the #1 ranked defense in the country. Ohio State can put up points. Dwayne Haskins is going to be a Heisman frontrunner. My point being, are we overlooking these rivals? Could Alabama fall to LSU? Could Michigan beat Ohio State?
Yes, I said two weeks ago.
But that's my heart speaking. That's my heart speaking because I want LSU to beat Alabama and I want Michigan to beat Ohio State.
I said 2 weeks ago, I said, look out for Michigan and look out for Michigan, Ohio State. And you laughed.
You keep saying this shit like you were on a fucking show. You're just saying these things into the dark and then claiming them as truth. You don't get to do that. What, I was in my bedroom the other week and I said that LSU would upset Georgia. Joel Heyman. You state the facts here on this show, and then we judge you by that. We judge you by that. I get judged by that.
We are God, judge, and how does that saying go?
We're judge.
We're judge, jury, and executioner.
We're Judge Judy's.
We are Judge Judy.
We're Judge Judy.
Listen, the great news about this is that this is not over, right? Some team somewhere is going to lose. It's going to happen. So the conversation we're having right now, it's going to be a different conversation many weeks from now.
Yes, it is. I'm just saying
and again, like in terms of that Big 12 conversation that we were having, that again, you're already discounting like the Big 12. Texas got jumped by 2 teams, this week, and Texas won. So it's like the Big 12 is already on the ropes in terms of I think public perception, in terms of the schedule they have to play with each other in the championship
Joel
game.
Heyman, if Texas is 12-1 at the end of the year, they'll have wins over 5 ranked teams in a Big 12 championship. They will make a strong case to be in the playoffs because they're Texas.
Well, again, they have 1 loss, and a bunch of 1-loss teams, 2 1-loss teams jumped ahead of them in the schedule. So on the rankings.
By the way, those don't matter for shit. Those polls are not taken in consideration at all when it comes to the playoff committee. Which, by the way, the first playoff rankings come out October 30th. So that will be next. Is that next week? It'll be coming out October.
I will say one thing about the rankings. It does kind of work out. Sometimes I feel like they artificially boost a team in the rankings, but it's okay because oftentimes they will boost them because you're getting a matchup there where somebody's going to lose and it'll be fine.
You want to drive the conversation. You'll make a team ranked because you want to see that matchup on TV. It looks sexier. It's just the way it goes. But those polls are not taken in consideration. The coaches' poll is a fucking joke. It's been a joke since day one.
It's funny because one of the coaches came out and was like, I don't have time to watch these games.
No, they have people fill them out and then they sign it. That's the way it goes. You think Jimbo Fisher's down there at A&M like, I'm going to rank all these teams. Who should be #1? Let me really break. You think a coach has fucking time for that?
He's way too busy grabbing people's face masks.
He is. By the way, A&M's looking good. Jimbo's looking good.
He used to get in trouble for hitting players on the sideline.
Well, do you know that they're 5-2 down there at College Station? He's doing kind of good. It's the thing what's happening right now with Florida State and Jimbo is whenever you break up with somebody, you always want to be the better ex, right? Like you want to be the one that you lost a little bit of weight. The job's going better for you. You got big things going on in your life. And Florida State was looking at Jimbo and they're like, Jimbo, you made a terrible decision. You're going to A&M. You're going to suck down there.
Willie Taggart's not that bad.
Willie Taggart doesn't know how to fuck us.
No, he's a good time.
Nia.
Taggart's in the top 10 payroll. He's fine. He's top 10 payroll.
Yeah, but he
can barely stay hard for the entire game.
So he's making like $6 million a year.
You did get a limp-dick boyfriend.
We got a limp-dick coach.
And what's your new ex doing? They're dating the Aggies. They have the most money in college football right now. You got a big old
Everyone knows every Aggie turned out to be a stripper. No one gets a real job after going to that school.
No, I don't disagree with that. But hey, guess what? Strippers fuck. And Jimbo is having fun down there at College Station, 5-2.
Jimbo's got chlamydia.
That's breaking news. Chlamydia, Jimbo Fisher, together? We'll find out.
I mean, I'm trying to be objective here, but I can't help but appreciate her point of view.
It is sad. The team I feel the least sad about, where I hope they lose every game, is I cannot stand the University of Nebraska and the way they were uppity little bitches and Tom Osborne, fuck you, and the way that they left the Big 12. I feel for Scott Frost, but I would not feel for that university. And it is what would happen at any other school. I still don't think people are losing their minds enough. What happened if that happened to Michigan or Alabama or USC or Florida? If they started 0-6, people would be losing their minds.
It's true.
Running around in the
but
street
again,
with
it's
torches.
it's not like Nebraska was like winning national championships and then they hired Frost, which is they were having problems. Before, not as big as problems.
They were.
I feel bad for them.
This is the worst start in school history.
No one is up in arms about Florida State. I mean, we won the national championship.
Yeah, you won that memorable 0-13 against the vaunted Auburn Tigers that lucked their way in. And what happened when you played a real football team that next year? What happened to that Oregon game? We'll go ahead and play the fucking Jameis Winston falling backwards, fumbling the ball. You got dominated by a real football team. The 13
First of all,
title
Oregon
was
is not a
fucking
real
garbage.
football team. They are a system offense.
That whooped your ass. System took you behind the woodshed. Showed you that big old duck dick. Ducks have huge penises.
Why do you know this?
I know a lot about animals.
Duck dicks?
Animals. Ducks have huge penises. Just Google it. It's insane. It's like the length of their duck bodies. That's what happened to Florida State. Garbage school, trash town. I'm glad it's happening to them.
I
don't care. I don't care that you're mad. I care that you're mad. Anyways, I can't believe Nebraska's 0-6. I hope they lose out. They won't because I think they're playing Bethune-Cookman next week, and they have to win that one, right?
I don't like him either. He's a terrible person. Over there.
Tyler?
He's terrible.
Whatever.
Fucking hate him.
Fuck person. You.
And what's
Throw
really painful is that they've lost the game by 1 point this week, which is
lost to Northwestern in overtime. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Oh man, it's painful. I don't know what to say. And in college football, it's really even more painful because what's happening is like not only is your season screwed, but it's like now recruits are just like, I'm not coming here.
Exactly, and that's why college football is so much harder to recover from after one bad season than the NFL. There is no next season. We had a terrible fucking season. We're done for like 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, in Nebraska.
It's officially rebuilding time once you don't make a bowl. Oh my God, we might not make a bowl.
In Nebraska, you might not make a bowl. Nebraska, for them, they did a very stupid thing, and at the time when they left the Big 12, they had a big pipeline to the south, because kids really do care about playing in front of mom. They care about playing at home, and they care about coming back home. Nebraska cut off their entire pipeline to the south. Cut off all their ties to Texas.
Yeah.
They cut it off to everything.
It's almost a weird...
Because you don't have your coaches going down to Houston anymore to recruit kids that you're familiar with. Mm-mm. You're going up north. You're going to the Midwest. You became an island, and Nebraska isn't good enough to just have Nebraska boys wearing the black shirts on defense and kicking ass.
It really is. It's almost like a weird experiment because here you're seeing a program really fail in every way that you can fail. So it really is, you're cutting the program down to its absolute bare minimum. So now the question is, the only wind that they have at their back is just sort of like the size of their student body, and they have some tradition. So it's like, how long does it take, to build back up from that absolutely just...
Right, and like Mia said, it happens so fast. Kids these days will not remember that Nebraska was one of the most feared teams in the 90s and early 2000s. They went to the national championship against Miami in 01. These were dominant football teams.
No, it's true. They will not remember the 90s.
Look how long it took the Hurricanes to recover.
It can take a very long time. Texas...
Until last fucking year.
You look at the University of Texas, it went 35 years between national championships.
I have one question for Mia. What is the deal with teams in Florida naming their teams after things that come through and just kill everyone every year?
Seminoles? I thought we killed them.
I'm talking about the Hurricanes. Like, why do you name your team after a thing where...
I thought you were talking about the Gators. Like, Gators come in and kill people every year. They're just like roaming around.
Also, don't act like Hurricanes is the worst name in college football. There's a Christmas tree as a mascot.
That is true.
Yeah, but Christmas tree, friendly, happy, give you presents.
Yeah, unless you're not, unless you're Jewish or
a hurricane can technically suck up presents from one house and drop it off at another house in Georgia.
Here's another question for you. Why is Tulsa named the Golden Hurricanes? They don't even have hurricanes in Tulsa.
Fun fact, the state of Oklahoma has a Navy. Go look at a map and tell me why. Moving on to the NFL.
What?
It was also a crazy week in the NFL.
How can a state have a Navy?
A landlocked state. I don't know. Go look it up. Anyways, NFL was crazy this week. You know who's feeling some heartbreak too? Kansas City fans fell back down to earth a little bit. That was an epic game last night. Patriots, Kansas City at Foxborough. You knew that game was going to go that way. And for people freaking out on the Patriots are the same people that'll freak out if Alabama loses a game.
Yeah.
They're still the Patriots. And until Belichick's gone and Brady's gone, they've started off 1-2 before, and then they're like, now everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're fine. The Patriots. Yes, they're fine. They're the fucking Patriots.
All right, I have some stats for you.
Hold on before we get there.
Go
I got to break down the rest of the NFL.
Break it down.
So that's a game that I think all of us just want to fast forward to later this year when that's going to be the playoff game that decides the AFC.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest, like how good was that game? That was so much fun to watch. But I don't know what's going on in the NFL. I'm very confused.
I am too.
Pats are back, I think. The Jaguars, the best defensive team.
Pats ever went away?
They lost to the Cowboys 40-7, okay? Adam Thielen is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. He has 6 consecutive games catching 100 yards.
Who?
Brock Osweiler is good now. The very weird things are happening. The Texans are in first place in the AFC South. It's some weird. There's some weirdness
the Texans
going on.
are like the recipients of free interceptions. Like they're basically just like the last 3 weeks. It's just sort of like people just throwing balls at their defense.
Well, I can't believe that Nathan Peterman got another shot with the Bills. The Bills are great. They're giving me hope because I'm a little worried with the Browns. Browns lost this week to the Chargers, who, by the way, Chargers are having a really good season. Philip Rivers is on fire right now. The Browns are on the up and up. We can say that. They're on the up and up. They're actually a team that can compete. That doesn't mean at a high level, but they can compete. The Bills are slowly starting to replace the Browns as the heel. We need the heel for the whole ecosystem to work, okay? You have to have the heel in any society, and it's always been the Browns. Somebody has to replace that. If the Browns are going to leave it, it looks like it's going to be the Bills. The whole quarterback situation with Josh Allen is not working out. Nathan Peterman is fucking garbage. Lose on a last-second pick to the Texans. That's going. Things are weird. I don't know what's going on in the NFL. And your Redskins, by the way, are they still playing football?
They won yesterday. Fuck you.
Who's winning the NFC East? Eagles look back to being
We're
in form. Tied. The Cowboys could be back in it. I don't know. It's very strange. I know the Giants won't.
Can I tell you something? This is the least football I have ever watched in my entire life this season. Because I'm not enjoying it. It's not fun for me. I don't like it. I don't like college football. And I dealt with Florida State being not good. Like, I lived through fucking E.J. Manuel and Christian Ponder and Chris Ricks. It was terrible, but this season is just demoralizing. And NFL, it has just not been fun for me.
I don't know you know what? I'm on the same page with you, and I know a lot of people are going to give us flack with this, but like I have found college this year actually has been very entertaining for me. I really like it's been a great season, a lot of great storylines. NFL is, maybe there's too much parity right now, and I need separation so I can focus. Because it's hard for me. I don't know. I'm on the same boat. Why is that? Joel, can you tell us why we're down on the NFL? What's going on?
I mean, I had these stats. These are 2-week-old stats at this point, but it's just sort of like, it's strange. NFL ratings are up, right? Top 15 shows of all time, or of 2 weeks ago, were all NFL games. And it's weird because there's 21 comebacks for teams trailing the fourth quarter, 38 games decided by 1 point or less, which is an 86-year high, which is crazy. So you have parity at an all-time high. I mean, there's a lot of conversations that you can have about the NFL. There's a lot of conversations you can have about the recruiting class with the quarterbacks, how it's like the greatest recruiting class of quarterbacks ever. Or you could say, well, now the offenses have been favored through the rule book so much that it's like now you have Tom Brady running in touchdowns. I mean, if you like during the Kansas City game last night, you had a defensive lineman had him wrapped up and then just let him go. And Tom Brady's as old as I am, and he's walking in touchdowns.
Well,
so we finally know how old Joel is.
Yeah, you're 40. Joel's 40, everyone. And I don't know. I'm with me on this one. I don't know. Maybe because it is the parity, is that this is
the first time I have favored red zone over watching full games.
Yeah, I mean, red zone's always been my shit.
No, I like to watch the games from not beginning to end, but I'll flip through. I don't like red zone though. This year I just throw red zone on and I work on my computer. I barely watch.
Let's talk to
or even worse, I'll turn Netflix on at some points during the day.
that shouldn't be happening. I don't know.
I'm not having fun this year. It's not fun to watch.
I don't understand because Mahomes was with Texas Tech, and he's a phenomenal. He's got a photographic memory. That's a huge advantage. I don't remember him being this good at Texas Tech.
He was not.
No, he wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good.
Listen, I watch every Texas Tech game.
They have scored.
I love Cliff Kingsbury. He was not that good at Texas Tech.
Not that
I don't know what happened.
The dude flung it around.
Kansas City has scored on they put points on the board every first drive this season. That's fucking insane.
They've been lights out. I will say, and I'm not trying to take anything from Patrick Mahomes because I don't want people coming at me. And I think what he's done this year is amazing.
He's fantastic.
He's clearly going to win.
I feel like he wasn't.
MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He
could win MVP. My point being is that it's definitely easier as a rookie quarterback when you have one of the best tight ends in the league in Travis Kelce. You have one of the best playmakers in the league in Tyreek Hill. You have one of the best running backs in the game in Kareem Hunt. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's all them that has elevated him that highly, but it is. Because name me another, and Patrick Mahomes is not a rookie quarterback, but name me another first-year quarterback that has weapons like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's tough to have.
You're right.
And he has been able to, he's utilized it great. He has been spectacular in the red zone, which is
don't take that away from him.
Not taking away from him. The red zone offense has been stellar. I'm just saying.
No,
But
I think that could
over there, it is a team effort. Like he's basically like that extra, spritz of lemon on like fish or something. It just elevates it. It was already good, but he just elevates it.
And he didn't have that at Texas Tech. He had a running back that was my height, and they ran a play called Little People, Big World against Texas. It was amazing. Go Google it.
Well, it's funny because if you're in the Big 12 and you watch a lot of these players, when Kansas City came on the scene the first 2 or 3 weeks, you're like, man, Andy Reid is a good coach.
Oh God.
And it's just sort of like, I mean, he's been there a while. This is what's crazy. Starting QBs under the age of 25 when going to Gillette Stadium are 0-25. Now they're 0-26.
Yeah.
Some people are saying 0-23. Now 0-25. They're 1-41. They're 1-41 since the Belichick era.
Yeah.
That's to say, you know who the one quarterback was to go in there and win?
I don't know.
Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was the only guy to go in there. The Pats are 60-2 when facing AFC non-division opponents in the Belichick era.
What you need to do? You need to send that all in an email, send that to Goodell, and you need to send that to the Times, the Post, and the Globe. Send it to the Spotlight team, send it to Vice, and let the people know.
Just tweet it.
Are you kidding me? We can't go on a long enough Colin Kaepernick rant. How that man doesn't have a job in the NFL, I completely understand, but I also don't at the same time. It's very frustrating. But for anybody that thought like it is hard to go into Foxborough and win, we both picked the Patriots to win this game, and it could have gone either way. That was a tight game. That was your preview of the AFC Championship right there.
I think so. It's funny because it's like one of those few, I'm not obsessed with gambling or anything like that, but it was one of those few times where it's just sort of like,
Didn't
wow.
he just say before the show that he wishes we didn't have a show so he could go to Vegas and gamble?
Yeah.
I would never say a thing.
You are constantly in
Never say
Vegas.
You are a
like
degenerate gambler.
You have a problem.
I
You're
have
like
a
the
problem.
Bernie co-star of the
I have a
show.
problem.
Go Google that, fans who don't know about him.
But the over on that game was so obvious, right? Where it's just sort of
yeah,
like,
they were going to throw up points like crazy.
Yeah.
and it was like 80. I think they
It's been,
It's 83.
it's been an all-offense season because defensive players are scared to touch the quarterback.
That's what it is. You're a defensive
do.
person, so you like the Florida teams who
I
have
like-
very
I li-
strong
yeah.
defenses, right? And
I like
so-
the hard hits.
which are not in the NFL anymore.
I like the games that are less than 20 points.
Oh, yeah.
Less than 15 points, if I'm being honest.
I
I don't
like-
like high-scoring games.
I like a dogfight too. I
Yeah.
don't like boat races can be fun, but I'm not. I like good, sound, physical football
too.
and a hard running attack. I miss
Yeah.
90s football. Run the football, Joel. You got to run the rock.
It's so weird because the game has changed so much where it's like the offenses are spread so much more. And so it's like the stats for the quarterbacks in the offense are so much better than what you think they used to be.
Oh, they're
but
bloated,
It's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
weird to me that running backs like Le'Veon Bell may be coming back, right? And it's strange to me that they only last three years now. Where you'd think with a spread offense and the defense is responding to that, you think running backs would last longer, but I don't know. I guess it's.
I think that they're just more cognizant of the ramifications now.
Yeah,
I feel like in the 90s they just did not give a fuck. But now they know that they can get endorsement deals. They can get deals like doing podcasts and talk show, and like they will have careers after football, whereas in the 90s they were like, it's football or my family starves.
I guess so, but I remember like a lot of running backs back in the day, they would go 10 years,
No,
right?
of course,
You
yeah.
have Marcus Allen and
Because
you
they
Walter
had
Payton.
to.
Curtis Martin,
But it's like at the
Emmitt
same-
Smith. I mean, all that. Yeah, all
Emmitt
those,
Smith, all those guys, but it's
basically when you had your running back, that was your guy for a decade.
But
Yeah.
it could be a statistical anomaly where it's like maybe you and I are just picking up on the superstar running backs, where there's like maybe a lot of other running backs.
No, I think the longest tenured running back in the NFL still is Frank Gore.
Oh
Frank
wow,
Gore.
yeah, he's been forever.
Fuck the University of Miami though.
Frank Gore, Frank the Tank is absolutely amazing. One of my
He's
all-time.
torn both his ACLs too.
That man is the Cal Ripken of the NFL. But I will say, like, when it comes to running backs and wide receivers now, because actually the only thing that I got out of the Texas-Baylor game this week that was just atrocious.
Was a heart palpitations.
Fucking hate Baylor. Jalen Hurts, the transfer from Tennessee,
Yeah.
who was a running back, came
Yeah.
to Baylor to be a wide receiver, and said the reason he did it is because running backs average
Two
about
rape girls.
3 years. Yes.
What?
3 years in the NFL compared to wide receivers that last 7 to 10 years.
Smart.
So you lease running backs, you buy wide receivers. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And good for him. I mean, that's a smart decision on his part, where it's
an
just sort of
excellent
like
decision.
where I'm going to leave Tennessee, I'm going to go to Baylor because they're going to let me play
Pass
wideout.
happy offense
And,
in the Big 12. You know, you're going to get big stats. Yeah, kid's a freak.
And he said when they're talking about the game, he said when I made the decision to go from running back to wide receiver, I was very cognitive decision. Like it was a
My
business
health
decision.
was a business decision.
And
Yeah.
good for him.
That's why I still test, like with Le'Veon holding out. I am so pro player exercising their rights and knowing their value and holding
Yeah.
the NFL to that.
I am fully supportive of Le'Veon Bell. I think this is the absolute best decision. Honestly, I think the worst part of the decision is to come back before week 11.
That's why, I'm very confused about that. Why is that happening? For people that don't know, he can come back at week 11, sign, he can play, and he'll get franchise tag, meaning he can be an unrestricted free agent next year, which is what he wants to do to get his big contract. Why is he coming back now?
I have no idea.
I don't know if I understand that.
I was going to ask
I mean,
you
he's
guys.
missing out on major money every single game. Maybe there is something in the works that we don't know about where he is going to get that max deal.
Well-
I don't know what's going to happen. Either way, he's getting franchise tag this year if he comes back and plays.
Well, it's funny. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are people, and you have to. I mean, he's not enjoying sitting out. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he wants to get in there and play.
yeah,
So
because
that means
as
something.
we've seen, the Steelers have risen back to the AFC North. This is a Super Bowl caliber offense with Le'Veon Bell, period. I mean, they are. This is a team that knows how to go and go fast, and they can put up points in a hurry. With him, they're damn near unstoppable.
That's the most interesting division in football to me.
Oh, right now, it has been the most exciting because the Browns are competitive. The Bengals have got off to a great start, lost to the Steelers this Sunday. Ravens have been okay. Joe Flacco's elite. Don't at me. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
I really like what the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson. I really like how they're.
Did you see
Lamar
the funnies?
Jackson?
Yeah, Lamar Jackson out of
Jackson.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Fuck
The
Louisville.
best thing is like, they'll
They
put
beat me so hard.
So they'll put Joe Flacco out on a 5 wide, and his wife will actually. His wife has been complaining to Joe about you have to look more interested when you're out there. When Lamar Jackson's
Joe
out there,
Flacco is not an elite quarterback.
and you're put at the wide receiver position, she's like, honey, you have to look more interested. You're just standing there mopey. Like, do something. I'm sorry, I don't want to make
That is
like,
the best feedback I've ever heard from.
I don't want to be this guy, and I don't want to be the show, but we are. And I'm a sports host that said a lot of dumb, stupid shit in the past. So I'll say it here. There's no way Joe Flacco fucks.
He does not fuck.
Thank you.
No.
Wait, how do you know?
He just looks like, you can tell.
His
when a
demeanor on the
man
sideline
fucks.
when he's wide receiver, just standing there like a dope.
He does not fuck at all.
Thank you. He doesn't.
And that's a negative.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to fuck, Joel?
You want to fuck.
You want to fuck.
He's a veteran.
No.
He's
but
been
he's not an
around.
elite veteran.
He's had a lot of fucking.
He has been carried. No, he has not. He has had zero fucking.
And there's only a few quarterbacks in the NFC North
So
that
what-
fuck, and I think Baker Mayfield is the only one.
When he goes to a bar and tries to cheat on his wife and tells a girl, I play football, she goes, what color flag do you wear?
Mia ain't lying. She knows what she's talking about.
So what you're saying is that he's relying on his defense to get fucked.
Yes. His defense gets him fucked.
Yeah. Anyways,
Ray Lewis comes out from behind and goes, sleep with him or I'll murder you.
that's true. Because
That's a good- well, I don't know.
It's a good wingman.
Ray Lewis murdered a guy.
Ray Lewis murders. And Joe Flacco does not fuck.
Boom.
Sportsball.
I hate the fucking Ravens.
Nobody likes
I hate the
Ravens.
non-fucking Ravens.
Cleveland hates the Ravens the most. They stole their team. Anyways, they're happy with where they're going right now. Before we get, I want to talk about some NBA before we get to our college picks because we want to throw in some NBA talk and maybe a little bit of
Starts on Wednesday!
a little bit of NHL. NBA has been fun. I have so much more fun with basketball because when we talk about the drama and we're talking about, players having players having all this power, the off season for the NBA is the best.
The NBA does have the best offseason.
Unparalleled.
It's when the championship is won.
It is, and it's so much fun with the fake Twitter accounts,
Oh,
the
it's
trash
amazing.
talking, and bro, where are we going? Hey, dude, you joining me up here? I want to know. Hey, I'm the Warriors. Let's just go get Boogie because nobody saw that coming. I still can't believe that happened. But it's a lot of fun. NBA is a lot of fun is what I'm trying to say in the show.
Thursday, Wizards' first game. Wednesday, I don't give a shit.
Everybody, obviously the biggest storyline is LeBron James going to the Lakers and the reshuffling in the West.
LeBron James
And
went to the Lakers?
Fuck you, you B. And, Kawhi going up to Toronto was the big storyline, in the East. Also Tristan Thompson.
No. Kawhi getting shipped to Toronto.
Shipped to
He did
Toronto.
not choose to go there. This isn't a LeBron situation.
No one
he got
chooses
shipped
to go
there.
to Toronto.
Well, Danny Green was
not that
held against his will. Poor Danny Green. That poor bastard. He doesn't want to go to Toronto.
No.
I feel like he's Sam in Game of Thrones, having to go with Jon everywhere. Like, he doesn't want to go to Toronto. He's very happy in San Antonio.
And it's weird because it's the NBA and they legalized pot up there. So you think that would be at least some.
It is legal up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The last time I was in Toronto, I kept seeing advertisements for it, and I'm like,
I don't think
I
Kawhi
never
Leonard
heard
smokes
about
pot,
it
though.
getting. No.
Kawhi Leonard has
No, he does play
water.
World of Warcraft though.
He has water for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, that guy doesn't party. He doesn't
How do you
anything.
smoke water?
He doesn't. Water, baby. Listen. So LeBron going to the Lakers, biggest story, and the reshuffling of the West. And we got to see a tiny little preview, if you will. It's preseason basketball, so it's not the biggest deal. But can the Lakers actually be good this year? And do you think they could finish second in the West?
I'm going to say yes.
You think they can?
I'm going to say yes because LeBron is such an impactful player, and he is a true player. Like, he coaches a team when he is playing on that team. Like, he is the coach, he is the GM, and he is the star player. And basketball is just such a tight-knit sport that one player can make all the difference.
I mean, we saw it last year.
And they're going to have the secret weapon of the bandwagon fucking fans showing up to every single game and just having that power behind them.
Oh, yeah, the Lakers fans are terrible.
It's going to be so annoying.
It's hard to argue with that logic because for people saying there's no way they can finish second in the West, there's no reason, period, that the Cavs should have made it to the finals last year. That was LeBron's. People have argued that was maybe his greatest accomplishment yet, was dragging that sorry-ass team to the finals.
Well, I think you're going into it with how everyone is thinking about it, and I think that you're right, and I think he can will them into the playoffs. I think that's doable. The real question is that, if he doesn't, is that a massive failure, right? And so the question is, how does LeBron think about it? Yeah. Now, if LeBron goes to the Lakers and doesn't make the playoffs, that has to be devastating for him, and I wonder if that changes the whole dynamic of LeBron.
That would be insane. I think that would be more shocking to me if the Lakers did not make the playoffs. I absolutely think they make the playoffs in the West. I absolutely do, especially with San Antonio.
Well, I mean,
being down their point guard now, and that team is I don't know. Nobody knows what that team is going to be.
I also think that it helps that the West is in shambles, aside from Golden State.
I don't know if they're going to. I actually think the West is going to be really competitive this year with the Thunder. I think the Thunder are going to be at the top. I think the Jazz finished off the year great last year. I think that's one of the better teams in the West. In fact, if I had to do it right now, I'd probably go Warriors, Rockets, Thunder,
Houston.
Jazz at third. Lakers, San Antonio is what I'd probably go with right now.
But you're not as confident about those teams as you are about Boston.
No, I think the East is like, I don't even know if they need a play. I think it's Boston, Philly, and Toronto, and not the fucking Cavs being in contention for that at all.
You didn't say Wizards. I'm a little hurt, but it's okay.
No, the Wizards, no, because I think Boston healthy, with Kyrie healthy, and Gordon healthy, if he doesn't break his ankle again, which, God, that was just, but if they're healthy, They will be there. Toronto, I think, actually got better. For being as good of a team as they are defensively, they just got one of the best defensive players in the league.
A chip on their shoulder too.
Well,
So they're
it's
gonna
going to
bring it.
It's going to have to go through Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
And I think Kawhi is definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder just to show that he is one of the best players in the league.
I mean,
when he's playing at his level.
We know a storm's a brewing. We saw him laugh.
He is. That's scary. He's loose. He's going to dominate the East.
Yep.
You know, for me, as a fan of old people, I am sort of interested in what's going to happen at Houston. Because I think you have some old people. You have 3 old people who are former stars. You know, what's going to happen now? Like you have.
I don't like the Melo dynamic down there.
You know what's funny is because Melo, like during one of the preseason games, he like was right at the 3-point line and shot a 2, and then made it, but apologized for not staying on the 3 line. And the interesting thing there was like, oh, is he buying into a system? Is an old NBA player who used to be a superstar?
He is such a sad individual.
he's a lumpy.
I just feel so
man.
bad for him now.
I do too. I think the Rockets fall back down to earth. I think James Harden had it in him 1 year to be like, all right, I'll play a little bit of defense and try and win a title. I think he goes back to I just want to win the MVP and shoot basketballs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen for Houston.
No.
I think they had their shot.
They had their shot last year.
God, they had their shot. I know Houston's they're going to think on that for a long time, and I think they're going to think on it for a long time because they're not going to get close to that again.
Do you think like an NBA player versus other sports who's a superstar matures more in their career than other sports?
They mature slower.
You think slower?
Much slower.
Yeah, probably. I mean, when you compare it to like other sports, it's probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, in hockey, you have longer careers, you know, and in baseball, you have longer careers. In the NFL, maybe not as much.
NFL is the shortest amount of careers. NBA, you're going to have long careers. You'd be right
Also, it doesn't help that in the NBA, they can go in so fucking young.
Right. So there's a turnover question, right? Which is like, I don't know.
Like in college, you have to play 4 years.
You don't know. They're changing the rule. They
To
got
3?
rid of the one and done finally, which is great.
Wait, they got rid of one and done in basketball?
They're getting rid of one and done.
They are getting rid of, or they got rid
They are
of?
getting rid of
When?
one and done. I think this coming season.
Okay. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah,
because players are going in too fucking young.
Yeah, the NBA is losing a lot of these guys to the European leagues, and it's like, no, we want that product here.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you go to college or you go pro. It should be as simple as that. There's no reason. And I don't even know. Maybe it just makes Americans feel more comfortable.
You go play in Europe when you're fucking washed. You
Yeah.
don't go play in Europe to start your career.
I don't know why, I think LeBron killed all of that, where it's like, I don't know what it was. America's fascination with like needing to send young men to either college or like,
Well, LeBron's
if you
gonna be
come
very
out of high
sad.
school, well, that's just not a good life choice. It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
I never got that. So who gives a shit? What
what do
the
you
hell
mean?
does
Do you
education have
not-
to play into sports?
You don't support the abolishing the one and done rule?
No, I do.
Then what are you saying?
No, I'm saying America, for the one and done, was uncomfortable with the fact of like, for some reason, grown men didn't want young men coming straight out of high school into the NBA, so they wanted the one and done. And I never understood that. Like, I never got that.
Oh, okay. You think that they should still finish?
No. What I'm
school.
saying is that, no. The rule is like you have to go 1 year of college before you can go pro, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fucking retarded.
Why?
If you are good enough to go pro at 18, go pro.
This
Don't
goes
go
back
college.
to players being immature little shits.
No. If you are good enough to play at 18, you should be able to go play the sport of your choice. Period. Why do you need college? College doesn't mean anything, and it's
You
a
need to
waste of
grow up a
time for
little
the
bit.
university.
You need to grow up
It's
a
all
little bit.
centered around money. It's centered around money. It's centered around universities wanting that money because, by the way, the NCAA makes all of their money off basketball.
Oh, I don't
they
think
make
athletes
all
I
of their
don't
money
think
off
NCAA
basketball.
Athletes should get paid. We definitely disagree on that.
I'm about to fuck you up with some truth. Those.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, you don't want to hear it too
I
bad?
don't wanna hear it.
Guess what? I'm the host on this show, so you get to hear it. They absolutely should get paid to play the sport. These people are making billions, not millions, billions of dollars off their likeness, off their talent. These players see nothing.
These players are also teenagers
it
who
doesn't
are getting
matter.
a free
Well,
education.
the free education. The free education.
Whether or not they utilize it to their benefit is their choice.
I fucking love people that come out with a free education thing. All the little Twitter gangsters that are like, yo, you get a free education, you shouldn't have to argue. Martha going for her fucking basket.
Oh
my God. Martha over there getting an art degree. Who's a moron is like, oh, I have to do that. Well, Martha, are millions of people watching you play a sport? Are millions of people spending thousands and thousands of dollars every year on your likeness, on your jersey? Do you have that weight of the world on you, Martha, at 18 fucking years old to win national championships on national television? You don't. Free education, my ass. There's so much more that goes into that. Plus, those players are on such a short leash. They can't spend $40 at a dinner. They can't work during the summer.
This goes back to what we were saying about entitlement
shit.
and these kids being entitled.
These kids go through the grinder.
Reason, exactly.
Oh my
God. You know what? It builds character.
I'm going to give you the best counter argument that I can think about. Right now in New York City, it started a week ago, is a trial taking place between the United States government through an FBI investigation.
And the Navy
into college,
and what was it?
Into college basketball.
Yeah.
Right? And so what's happening now is that you have everyone going up and doing testimony, and they're all turning on each other, and everyone's going to go to jail. So the most fascinating thing about this is if you remove these rules, now you won't have people breaking rules so that we can have interesting trials. It's really about the trials.
What the fuck are
What?
y'all talking about? No, both of you are.
What?
You guys are ridiculous.
Law and order.
You guys are ridiculous.
No, fuck you.
No. These players should get paid, and I'm not saying they should get paid a lot. I think you could start at a stipend. You have got
absolutely should not.
You're the one to make the argument about Le'Veon Bell and his value.
Benefit. I'm saying they shouldn't get paid.
Well, they don't benefit right now.
But there's a difference between saying they should get paid like they are playing in the fucking league and saying they should be benefited in some way. There is a difference.
There is no difference.
Yes, there is. They should not be getting paid.
What is the difference between college and pro football? For what a player is doing on the field and the value that they bring playing the sport they play. Tell me the difference between that. Tell me the difference.
They're going to school.
No.
What?
Yeah. We're excited. You know, Vince Young came to Texas to get a fucking economics degree. No, he came here to win football games.
Then what the fuck is that? If you start paying them, what the fuck will the difference be between NCAA and NFL? There is a clear difference. I like the NCAA because there is heart and soul poured into it. They are not playing for money. They're not playing for a contract in the next 4 years.
They are playing for money. They're playing to be so good that they get a lot of money on Sunday.
That's why I like NCAA more than I like NFL.
They know what that is. They should get paid something. They should be compensated something.
There is a difference between that and saying they should just be getting paid.
No, you're saying no. Because they should get paid.
Like salaries, or they should benefit from jersey sales.
Now you're asking the right questions. Yes. Jerseys?
All right, well,
yes.
You just blanketed it as they should be getting paid.
No, because it is that wide-ranging. Because here in this country, with any other thing, if somebody uses your likeness, they cannot do it for free.
I think that they should be allowed to make money from autograph signings and things like that. I don't think they should be making a fucking salary.
I didn't say salary. They should get paid.
You said they should get paid. There is a difference,
because
Tyler.
it is big. And no, there's not. They should get paid. They should get paid for multiple things. That's why I just said paid, because it's so many things they should get paid for. Autographs, jerseys, anything likeness.
Well, this is no longer fun because now we agree.
No, because I'm right, and I've been right.
No, I said the same thing.
I've been right since day one.
Absolutely not.
I think that they should get large stipends.
I think that they should get percentage of jersey sales with their numbers on them, and also be allowed to do things like autograph signings and, just...
They should be able to get money and make money off the talent that they have before they go to college.
But then I start thinking, all right, if they're allowed to do things like this, will this take away from things like them being in the gym? Or, it turns into distractions.
Taken away, they're going to go to the gym more. They're going to go to the gym more. They're going to go to the field more. They're going to be in the room studying film more because they want to get better, because they want to get more money. And you're not thinking about it proactively. You've got to get on my racket. Mia, you're a fan of a blue blood. You know what has money? Blue bloods.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the University of Texas. You know how much fucking money Texas could pay those players? We become a dynasty. We win all of football. That's why I want to play
And
I
that's
think
why
we-
you want to pay the
You
players.
just revealed.
Get behind it.
So would it be like baseball where there's no fucking cap, or does every school get the same?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, shut
You
the
make
fuck
all
up.
the money,
Get the
you get
fuck
all
out
the
of
players.
here.
You're just
Wait.
not thinking of it. I'm living in 2018. All right, you guys are in the past, you old fucks.
I think you're.
You know what? I miss the past.
I don't. I'm thinking forward. I'm thinking future.
I don't
I
think
miss
you.
1993.
I don't think you are thinking forward. I think you're thinking now. I think you're looking at the now. I think that your argument for paying athletes on face value makes total sense. Like everything you're saying, all your points make total sense.
Yes.
Like there are people benefiting.
Are you just
making
doing
money.
a long thing to say, Tyler, you're very right and you're very smart and good looking?
I'm not going that far. I would say that, but the thing is there's going to be ramifications for it that you can't anticipate, and it's going to turn into
Such a weak ass argument.
No,
That is
it's not.
It's going to turn into a whole thing.
That
you
is
don't
that
know.
is that is
Whoa,
America's
whoa, whoa,
answer to
whoa.
everything. It's like, well, it could be great, but there's going to be ramifications and consequences. Then plan for them. And create a network and create a system to where you can deal with those things. The excuse that we don't want to do a thing because there could be something bad happen.
No, but
that's
I mean,
so that's so stupid.
It's just like you said, right? Where it's like, hey, the teams that have the money will have a massive advantage, and they will.
Well, then take it away from them and make it to where they can't, and make it a level playing field.
Listen to me. So you're going to bifurcate college football, right? You're going to turn it into the schools that have a shit ton of money and the schools that don't have a shit ton of money. Because the schools that don't have a shit ton of money, where's that money going to come from to pay these?
You know what?
players,
Both
right?
of you know what
And
you
so
both sound like right now.
It should be
You know
about
what you sound like?
equality
No.
of opportunity.
Yeah, quality of
for
opportunity.
The students who are playing. If there is a team from a no-name school who does have a good schedule, who is a great team, and it does happen, who beats everybody, they should be allowed to have a shot at the best if they're in that realm. But what you're doing is you're breaking it down between some students who are going to have the advantage and some that aren't.
Listen,
now, is that what college should be all about?
Listen, you
don't we?
fucking communist. You fucking
No.
communist.
You know what?
Let me tell you something.
Communism works.
You have it backwards.
Listen,
oh my
no,
God!
you guys, you know what, you sound like the founding
don't even know
fathers.
it.
The founding fathers were like, we want to have our
don't
own
even know what
country,
communism
but
is.
I don't want to write the Bill of Rights. I don't want to do the Declaration of Independence because I don't know. I just don't want to think about
And
all
I've
the
said this before.
ramifications.
This isn't news.
Oh, God. It hurts.
What?
Hurts. I have to go to the bathroom.
Both of you would not step on the moon because you're too afraid. What you are, you're both afraid.
Why the
You're
fuck
afraid-
would I go to the moon?
You're both afraid of the future. You don't like children, and you don't like people having things happen that are fair for them in their lives.
Shut the fuck up, you
very-
socialist.
Let's make some picks.
We didn't talk baseball at all.
We're about
Shut
to
up.
talk baseball.
Watch 48 hours of baseball from Tyler.
We're going to talk baseball right now on our picks because series are tied up. Shut up. It's been great so far. The Brewers, man, that is a crazy home field advantage right now. That was huge for them to win the Central and get the #1 overall seed.
I am really, really not sure about their strategy of what they're doing with pitchers, again, that Oakland was doing. I'm really not sure about bringing in, a pitcher every, to
give our fans context. To give our fans context, how many pitchers did the Brewers pitch in Game 1, Joel? I believe it was 8.
Yeah.
They had 8 different pitchers, including their starter, including their closer. They brought in Josh Hader. They closed it out with Corey Knebel, but they pitched 8 guys. And even though they won Game 1, which they barely won Game 1, that will come back to bite you in a 7-game series when you need a fresh bullpen.
Well, it's funny. So help me God. There was a statistical analysis that was done like 20 fucking years ago. This was like before sabermetrics. And I don't probably have this exactly right, but I remember it was something like if you're beyond the 3rd inning and your team has a lead by like 1 or 2 runs and the opposing team gets players on base, it doesn't matter what inning after the 3rd, you bring in your closer. That's when you bring in your closer, which makes a lot of sense to some extent because it's like when the offense is challenging, that's the time to shut them down. Now we have this weird bastardization going on where it's like we don't have the starting pitching, I guess, and we feel stronger about our bullpen. So now we're bringing in everyone for the bullpen. But the weird thing is now, you got Hader, who's a badass, who's their closer. Now they're bringing him in arbitrarily in the middle of the game, not when there's runners on base or anything like that. They just have the lead. They're just bringing them in. And then they're bringing them in for 3 innings. They're bringing them in for 46 pitches.
Which I don't like.
So now it's like, okay, well, he's not coming out the next game. The other team knows he's not coming out the next game. So, he's your best guy. I'm just not sure about the strategy. I'm just not sure. I was really leaning Brewers. I'm not sure now. I really think the Dodgers could take the series.
Long way of saying the Dodgers are taking this series. Mio, who do you got? Pick a team, woman.
Statistical analysis.
I'm taking the Dodgers.
You should take the Dodgers. I'm gonna
Only
take.
because I've been to a Dodgers
I'm
game.
taking the Dodgers again. I love the Brewers. I love Christian Yelich. I don't like what they're doing with their bullpen. I think that comes back to bite them in the ass. It almost did in Game 1. Corey Knebel almost blew that thing. And you saw yesterday, eventually, you're going to get stung by the Dodgers lineup because it's too good. And Manny Machado came for a reason, and it's bolstered that lineup. I think the Dodgers are going to take this
I still haven't
series.
seen a single baseball game.
I do think Clayton Kershaw is, I mean, he's not the Clayton Kershaw of old. He's
No.
never had a good postseason record. He's 8-8 in the postseason now. He's 500.
Which is funny because there's a lot of teams right now with a lot of starting pitching who do not have good stats
Yes.
in the playoffs. It's very
However,
strange.
we have to congratulate on the other side, Boston Red Sox, Houston. Series tied up 1-1 now.
You know-
David Price has won a postseason game. Well, helped.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. He helped win a postseason.
He left the game with a lead, which is amazing for him.
Which is,
I feel like I came out on.
Joel?
I came out. I'm yelling. I came out on Sportsball when the first thing I said, "Listen, David Price is not real." And now all of a sudden everyone realizes it. They're like, "Yeah, he's not good in the
Oh, he's been
playoffs."
terrible. He's 0-9 in the postseason, but can you give him a little bit of credit? Give him a little bit of credit for yesterday. He helped win a game.
It was an
the
improvement.
postseason.
He gave up like 4 or 5 runs. He got out of the game with the lead.
helped.
That's fine. The best fight of that series was between Gonzalez and the Green Monster. Gonzalez swung first, hit the Green Monster with a baseball over the thing. Green Monster, very next inning, bit him back, hit him, put him on the ground, hurt his back, and then you got the hit off of the wall that came down the top of the padding. That was the game.
That was a game. Bregman almost tied the fucker up last night, hit it against a green wall out in left, sent it. It was just a little too short. It's a home run in any other park.
Coming into this series, I was super hot Astros, and it's just you just don't entirely know what's going to happen. Boy, if that game goes 7 series, if that series goes 7 games, I think Boston takes it.
Well, I think they will with home field, but I think it's huge that Houston still won on the road. They get to come back home for 3, and that's where they can do some damage. I think
they got to win it.
I think it goes to 7. I still go Stros. I think their lineup is better. I know that's crazy to say with Martinez and Betts there, but I still think it's better.
And
top to
both
bottom.
of those ballparks, I think advantage the Astros hitting.
Advantage Astros hitting big time. I'm sticking with the Stros with this one. Stros don't let me down. I think we're getting a rematch of last year. I think it's going to be Dodgers and Astros. We'll find out. Quick games, real quick. We're going to go through college football. Not too many barn burners, but we got a few. Big Ten battle. We have number 6.
Wait, a barn burner is like a Pac-12 game because they're on till 1 in the morning.
That's true. Pac-12 After Dark. Check it out if you never have. Number 6, Michigan, going to number 24, Michigan State. That's a tough place to play there. What do we think, though? Sparty had a good win over Penn State, feeling high and mighty.
I always pick
Michigan
Harbaugh.
takes down Wisconsin. Mia's going Harbaugh. Joel, who do you got? Quick answer.
I
Who do
think
you
it's
got?
Michigan.
There you go. Hey, surprise team out of the ACC, undefeated right now.
Not Florida State.
North Carolina State, NC State, the Wolfpack, number 16 in the country, taking on number 3 Clemson. Trevor Lawrence still trying to figure things out, but they're still undefeated. They're okay.
Clemson.
Where's Kelly Bryant? I don't know. I still want
Clemson.
I still want Kelly to come out like Bobby Boucher at the Bourbon Bowl. Just
Oh my God.
I hope he's always around. I just want him somewhere in a trench coat. Just go to a phone booth, take it off, and go run onto the field with that jersey. All right, last one. Number 22, Mississippi State at number 5, LSU, America's favorite team.
LSU.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Geaux.
That's right.
Tigers.
As St. Miles would say, it's Columbus Day, not St. Patty's Day. It's
So
a different day entirely.
Texas A&M moves to the SEC. That's fine. Okay? They've been there for 2 fucking years. So now the SEC says, "Oh, we have to make this authentic." So the SEC creates a trophy out of thin fucking air for the Texas A&M South Carolina game. We're supposed to pretend like Texas A&M South Carolina are a rivalry. We're supposed to pretend it's a rivalry all of a sudden for 2 years. They don't even know where the cup is. Neither team even knows where the cup is. Do you know where the cup is?
I didn't even know this is a story because
Like-
I don't consider either of those schools to be relevant or
The cup.
exist.
The cup is in Austin. The cup is in Austin. Their trophy for their 2-year-long.
So with the prediction that I gave Joel of Mississippi State to LSU, all of that means I believe Joel is going LSU. Is
I
what
think
that
so.
That's, yes.
meant.
You've read that well.
All right, and then in the NFL, we have a few big ones. We have Cincy at Kansas City. Both these teams coming off big losses. Big loss for Cincinnati against the Steelers, and then of course Patriots barely beat KC last night. Do we like Kansas City to rebound in this one, or Cincy to rebound?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. We've
City.
always picked the same
Yeah.
things.
Kansas City. Here's a big one for Mia. This is a classic one. Cowboys versus the Redskins. This one's at Landover, shithole of America. What do we like in this one? We like the boys, or do we like the culturally inappropriate Native Americans logo? Bad people, Dan Snyder.
And another thing, I think we should return the name Washington Bullets.
What?
think
That
we should
was
bring that back.
basketball.
We should bring that back.
No,
That was basketball.
The only
Washington
city
Bullets.
that's appropriate
All
for that
right,
would
Eddie
be...
Wong.
Washington Bullets.
No, the only city that could use that right now is Chicago. It's terrible,
That's
but it's
well,
true.
well said. You know, the NFC East is not good.
No, it's not. Who do you have?
I guess I'm going to go Cowboys.
Mia's,
I know, I'm
Mia's
sorry.
gonna go Redskins.
I am a Red. I know, sorry.
I'm gonna go neither one of those teams. I hate both of them.
You can't not pick.
I hate the
You
Cowboys.
can't not pick.
I hate the NFC East. It is.
Pick one.
It is
You
the
have-
garbage
Pick
division.
one or
of
I'll
America.
hit you again.
I'm going fucking Cowboys then. Let's go fucking Cowboys.
I would pick the Jaguars in this matchup.
I would take the Jags as well. I hate the NFC East. It is the best representation of
how did
America.
the Eagles
It is the best
win the
representation
Super
of
Bowl?
America.
How did they win the Super Bowl?
Throwing to their quarterback.
Oh my God.
Belichick's a moron. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Sportsball. This was a fun show. I think we're going to do this more often. Joel, do you want to stick around?
I'm really pissed off about this cup.
Joel.
I translated yes. Joel's going to be around, sticking around. Mia, do you like this open set?
I do. I like this chair so much
Do you
more.
accept Joel?
I accept Joel.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's the new Sportsball. So thank you, Joel Heyman. Thank you, Mia Khalifa. Thank you, me. And we will see you guys next week.
Don't thank
you,
yourself.
Ike.
Yes. All right. Later, guys.